Cullen goes live in 2 minutes. Lynn Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Hey, hello there. It's Monday. Oh, I don't think I've ever said it that way before. As if I was happy. Some of you may have the holiday off. Some of you may be wondering, what holiday is she talking about? That would be Columbus Day. I know this has gotten to be a little bit of a prickly issue in some regards, but sorry, it will continue to be. It ain't going away anytime soon. So I was trying to think about Columbus and whether he deserved to be honored, and then began thinking about, you know, the push to dishonor him. And here's what I came up with, and I'll just say this by way of, acknowledging that it is Columbus Day. So, for a man of his time, I would say that Christopher Columbus, I know nothing much about him, that he was a courageous man because he dared to do what a whole heck of a lot of other people would never have done because they thought they were going to fall off the face of the earth. It was a gutsy move. He set sail in these, into the void, and quite clearly didn't have a clue where he landed. He thought he was in what, China? Thought he was in Asia, when in fact he was, well, we know where he was. He was in this hemisphere. But he was in a world that, as far as he knew, had never been seen before. So chalk one up for his courage. Truly, truly. As for the genocide that resulted, essentially, of Native American populations, especially on the island of Hispaniola, where he landed, even if he didn't know he was there. And here's where my history is not great. I know that what his landing did, of course, was open the door to colonization of the Americas, north, south, and in between. That resulting colonization did a hell of a job wiping out Native American cultures, wiping out Native American populations, often because the Westerners who came to exploit this amazing real estate they had found, I'm assuming that they actively killed an awful lot of Native Americans. But the real, not the real scourge, that's a scourge too. The scourge that can't be blamed on Columbus, and I think the scourge that wiped out most of the Native American population in Hispaniola, and please correct me if some of you know this history better, was a scourge that Columbus and his crew didn't have a clue that they were bringing with them. And that was, of course, all the bacteria and viruses and other things that lived in and on their bodies, and which their bodies had become inured to, but which the Native Americans' bodies had no defense against. And so my understanding is that it certainly was not an intentional genocide in that regard, that part of it. I think, and I don't know that anyone has ever toted up the numbers, how many we think we killed simply by bringing our germs, and how many we killed actively. But here's the truth. The decimation of the people who already lived on this land in this hemisphere was horrific. And so that was 1492. How many years? So that's like, that's over 600 years ago, isn't it? No, it's over 500 years ago. It's over 500. Oh, come on, you can add 600 to 4. I'm 6 to 4. And no, 6 to, wait, 1492. Add us, and you get 2,000. So it's, yeah, but it's 92. So you back it up, it's a little over 500, I think. Jess and I are slightly challenged in some respects. So 500 years later, half a millennia later, the impacts on those people, the Native American population, South and North American, is still huge. Huge. They have not recovered at all, or hardly. Truly. Not in our country, not in the countries of South America, Central America. It's the devastation caused by Europeans discovering America is extraordinary. And that's why I find it hard to celebrate this. Yes, it's history, but I don't know that it's cause for celebration because of the essential genocide that occurred. Again, whether intentionally, which was often the case, or not, which also happened a lot, I believe. So, and that doesn't even go into the fact that the Vikings, the Norse, had already made their way to this hemisphere centuries before Columbus. They just, for some reason, didn't bother to exploit it. It's well known they were here, and for some reason, didn't stay. So, it's sort of a lie that he discovered America. It's sort of, and to me, it's not right to celebrate. I don't like it. I don't like it. Never felt comfortable with it. And to all the Italian Americans who get upset by that, there's nothing anti-Italian about it. It has nothing to do with what Columbus's ethnic or derivation was. And as I said, he was obviously a very brave man. That's the only adjective I'm willing to apply because I don't know much else. I know what his bravery resulted in. It changed, obviously. Somebody was bound to find the place anyway at some point. And these poor Native Americans who were living in a more primitive manner than the Europeans at the time were probably doomed, no matter who it was who came to these shores and planted their flag. I don't know. I just don't see it as a day to celebrate. And I don't know how they teach Columbus now in schools. I mean, they should teach it straight. They shouldn't teach it like they taught me. Because I didn't get the real story. I got the myth. And I don't think it should be that way. So I just want to say that Columbus Day, to me, just doesn't cut it. It just doesn't cut it. And I think increasingly, and as the country becomes less white and more brown, I'm going to go out on a limb here and suggest that Columbus Day is not going to be a holiday in 50 years. It will not be. You know, my son is a Native American, and his people are still just be downtrodden in their country. His country was Bolivia. Because the Europeans still, the descendants of the Europeans still pretty much own everything there. They finally, in the last 10 years, 5 years, I don't know how long he's been there, elected a Native American president. That's the first ever. But the Native Americans in Bolivia don't have the money. They don't have much anything. How do you celebrate that? And I know he feels that way. It's not something I suggested to him. He figured that out on his own. And he finds it, if to him, with some sense of his peoplehood and his ancestry, this would be a day not of celebration, but of mourning. So if you have a whole bunch of Americans for whom this date in history is one of mournful memory, how do you make a national holiday out of that? How do we celebrate? Because some courageous but confused Italian made it to these shores. It didn't have a clue where he was. I don't know. That's all. That's all I have to say. I actually had forgotten it was Columbus Day, but then I overheard somebody remark upon it. Yes, we have a caller. Hello.
Hey, Lynn.
Yeah.
George and Moon.
Hi, George and Moon.
Okay. Just had some comments about Columbus Day that you were talking about.
Good. Okay. Wow.
Okay. Thinking out loud here.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Okay. Same here. I think there's some good stuff and some bad stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, you know, I'm a kind of a space cadet. When I call you, I talk about the space program and stuff. Well, it has a connection here with Columbus Day.
Well, I thought that too. He had the courage to go into the void, which is what our astronauts did as well, right?
Right. There's a number of things here. Columbus was not just an adventurer. He was in hire from the Queen of Spain.
That's right.
Who paid for his commercial mission.
Right.
To seek gold in the New World.
Right.
Right. And coupled with religion and the commercial enterprise, that's what he did. Okay, now, it took a great deal of personal courage, and his crew, of course, too, to amass 3 ships or so and do what they did. And I draw parallels with today, somewhat with the space program, especially to last night when you probably saw in the news SpaceX, which is a private American corporation,
right,
launched a vehicle to the space station with a contract with NASA. And what's significant about that is this is the first time a completely private company is going into space.
Right.
100%. They did the launch, they did the vehicle, the rockets, everything.
So that's very
commercial enterprise.
Okay, so that's very parallel as well. So
yes,
the government,
now, that's good and that's bad.
The government starts these things off, and then the private the private sector comes in.
Right. So Columbus was kind of a mixed. He was both kind of a government from a monarchy in Europe, plus the commercial part of it too, which was to gain riches. Now that's exactly what SpaceX is all about. They are, just in the last 8 months, launched 3 vehicles and proved their worth, and now they have a contract, which means there'll probably be more of this, not only in this country, but elsewhere. In fact, I think there's 4 companies lined up, 4 or 5 companies lined up with NASA with their own vehicles and rockets to do the same thing as SpaceX just did last night.
So that space
and
station...
they're going to do it with astronauts.
Yeah, so the space station up there could end up being like Grand Central Station.
Right. Well, it's a scientific outpost now. But yes, what I'm saying is that the same sort of thing is going to happen as we reach out beyond the orbit of Earth, in the orbit of Earth and beyond, where commercial companies will do this strictly on their own for commercial reasons, for profit-making reasons, and they may or may not be connected with governments.
Well, you know,
so this will be the same thing that we could. Remember, we have a program with NASA to make sure that these vehicles meet sanitary standards and everything too. So we got exactly the same issues here. Only I think we're a little more educated. And
we are more educated. No, I know. I read something fascinating about how with this Mars landing thing.
Yes.
How everything had to be absolutely as much as we sanitized because they did not want to do what Columbus did. They do not want to pollute. Right. But you see, the thing is, we already are polluting. I'm sure you've read things about the extraordinary amount of space junk that is out there now.
Yeah, but that stuff is in orbit around the Earth.
I know. It's out there,
it'll come crashing back to us.
Yeah, but it also, the more that goes unregulated, the more it'll be difficult, to get around it. All of those things are potentially threatening to any vehicle that's up there. Right,
but do you see what I'm saying about the parallel issues with Columbus?
I see them. I see them completely.
There's good stuff that'll come out of this, of reaching into new realms in this exploration, because it's cutting edge. Columbus was cutting edge.
Yes.
But then you've got the commercial compulsion for profit making and everything that could sidelight our best intentions of not wanting to pollute other bodies beyond Earth.
So
so it's good and it's bad.
Yeah.
But it's the same exact issues, I think, as Columbus.
Pretty much.
In his time.
Pretty much. So there's a number of human qualities that sort of come to the fore. Courage, definitely. And the need to go into the unknown, whatever that is. Curiosity, courage, intellectual curiosity, courage.
Right. Developing technology and the wherewithal to do that traveling.
But
ships were cutting edge.
Yes, but right on its heels, another value of humanity.
Right.
Greed.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying
I
we should
know.
be concerned about.
That's
to
what...
make sure these private corporations bone up to the latest science and keeping this controlled so that we don't go out there and pollute something and mess it up. And so far, so good, but it's only been under government control.
That
will change, and that your son will experience that.
I would imagine so. Hey, Are you aware, and I don't know if they're still here, did you see the ships, the absolute replicas of the, I think, the Santa Maria, and there's 2 ships built by somebody by hand, I think, that are sitting right near the stadium.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything about that. In Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Sure?
When I did the cheeseburger contest, which is what? Was that last week?
Yeah, right.
They were there.
No kidding.
Yep, they're parked right there. Check them out.
They're scaled replicas, though.
No, it's the true size.
What?
Yes!
How come that hasn't been in the news?
It was. There was something on the news. There was something, I don't know about television because I don't watch it, but there was something in the paper, but this is some time ago, so they've been there for a while and maybe they've taken off.
Check it out.
Yeah, you should be right immediately. Immediately.
Yeah. And which just one of the ships or
I
two
think
or three?
there's 2. I think there's 2. There's not 3.
Wow. Those Italians that go to any lengths to publicize themselves, won't they?
Well, check it out if it's still there. That would
okay. We'll do.
I had wanted to walk over there actually, but ended up not because I ended up eating 20,000 cheeseburgers and couldn't make the trek. Jeez. Okay.
Yeah. So your son is going to be experience the same thing of exploration.
And maybe being and he can do it from the other side of being an exploiter. He could experience it that way.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll blow his mind. I'll wing that by him.
Yeah, because Columbus is not just 520 years ago. This issue is still active today.
I agree.
With what we're doing now.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay.
Enjoyed your call. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okie doke. I think we'll take a quickie break and be back. We'll get off of Columbus unless anybody wants to continue on. Okay? In a minute.
Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com or call Lynn at 412-316-3381. Lynn Cullen Live will return in a moment.
Go to bergbargains.com for great deals on tickets to the Science Center, City Theater, History Museum, Carnegie Museums, and some of the best restaurants in Pittsburgh. This week, get discounts on gift cards from Outback, Olive Garden, and Nordstrom's. bergbargains.com. Local deals, local merchants. bergbargains.com.
Okay. Hey, Greater Pittsburgh Literacy Council. What a bunch of good people doing good work, huh? Thing is, they rely on volunteers. Thing is, their staff of volunteers need some replenishing. That's where you come in. Or someone maybe you know. Someone maybe recently retired, looking for something to do where they still feel like they're making a difference. And you know what I'm talking about. So this is a great opportunity. The Literacy Council obviously teaches people how to read, or it teaches people English as a second language. These are 2 different things that they do. I'm sure there's various programs, but generally this goes one-on-one so that you end up with a student of your own. And they teach you how to teach. And they're there as support if you run into any difficulties. Sounds like something wonderful for a person who's given to give and is comfortable in that capacity of teaching. Tom Sokolowski famously signed right up and is already doing it. So consider it, or consider passing this word on, okay? And the phone number for the Literacy Council is 412-393-7600, or check it out on the internet at GPLC. I think you can figure that out, .org.
COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, is a lung disease that robs people of their ability to breathe. As many as 24 million Americans suffer from COPD, also known as chronic bronchitis or emphysema, and half of them don't know they have the disease. If you or someone you love is over 35 and has smoked more than 100 cigarettes in their lifetime, visit driveforcopd.org and take the screener, then take that to your doctor. I'm Jeff Stoltz, and I drive for COPD.
If you love great indie movies, then it's time to get real. Real Q, that is. Real Q is the new name for the Pittsburgh International Lesbian and Gay Film Festival. This year, see movies with stars like Olympia Dukakis, Robert Gant, Meredith Baxter, and Pittsburgh's own Vanessa German. Real Q screens at the Harris Theater in downtown's magnificent cultural district from Friday, October 12th through Sunday, October 21st. For more information, log on to realq.org. That's REELQ.org.
Now, it's back to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com.
Am I back? I might be back, but I'm... Oy, what? Okay, hello. I'll stop. I won't even try to put it back. Okay, I was trying to do some housekeeping. Well, let's see. What to next? There's so much. Did any of you see the O'Reilly Stewart debate? This was this done for charity? Maybe not. No, of course not. Was it? I don't know. But it was on the internet, and you had to pay to see it. But now, of course, it's up and available free of charge. And I probably should have paid to see it because I didn't do anything better with my time on that evening. The little snippets I have seen, I have not watched it all yet. It was very good, very fun. Why is it that, I mean, increasingly it's true that Jon Stewart says things, puts things in perspective better than anybody else. Anybody else. I'll give you a line or two that he said during the debate. Why is it that if you take advantage of a tax break and you're a corporation, you're a smart businessman? But if you take advantage of something that you need to not be hungry, then you're a moocher. There it is, in a nutshell. I love this one. The first sentence of the Constitution mentions unions and welfare. He says that to O'Reilly. He says, Bill, I don't know what to tell you. I'm trying to think, what exactly is that sentence? Of course, it doesn't mention labor unions, and it's not talking. Well, it's talking about the public welfare. It is talking, but not as Republicans talk about it. But in order to form a more perfect union, blah, blah, blah. I can't think. Geez. I didn't learn my lessons on Columbus well, and I guess I don't know that. But it is true. The first sentence of the Constitution mentions unions and welfare. I love it. And this was fascinating. Here's something O'Reilly said. This blew me away because I wish I have to see it because he says essentially that capitalism is what drives everything, and it's capitalism that has resulted in, for instance, an entity like a Fox News, because in fact it sells. He said it makes billions of dollars a year. So, but then he says, in regard to Fox, O'Reilly said this, you can make a lot of money by being an assassin. And he's talking metaphorically. It doesn't matter, right wing, left wing. You go in and you're a hater. Radio, cable, in print, whatever. You can get paid. And there's people who do that. Now, what I want to think was, surely he was thinking that he was one of them? I mean, it's so odd. There's people who do that, and they go in. They don't even believe half the stuff they say. Capitalism drives that. There are people, Americans, who want to hear hate. And we have to live with that. It's freedom of speech. Wow. Can't disagree with what he's saying. But to say it so matter-of-factly, and that's what, I mean, to me, he's peddles a lot of that hate as well. Stewart came back and said, you know, you guys, you live on bullshit mountain. And then he went on about how it was an alternative reality, which we talk about a lot. And Stewart described it as a reality where our problems are amplified and our solutions simplified. So he said, as for instance, so we face a debt crisis that we've never faced before. We are merely weeks from being a failed state, or even worse, Greece. And the way to solve it? Kill Big Bird. Well, that's pretty right on. Then you get to a guy who's a member of Congress. This is already somebody who sits in the hallowed halls of the United States House of Representatives. This is Republican Congressman Paul Brown. He's a doctor, a medical doctor. He's running for re-election in a month. He's running now, but he'll be reelected in a month. You know why? Because there's no Democrat running against him. So this representative is running unopposed, which is really amazing when you think about it. But on the other hand, we're talking about a Georgia district, which I guess there's not you'd have to be a sacrificial lamb, I guess, to be the Democrat. But I hate it when nobody stands up and argues the other side. I hate it. There should, in this country, never be an uncontested election. The very fact that there are uncontested elections, even at this level, I mean, we're used to seeing it around here, God knows. But at the congressional level, nobody steps up. So here's a guy. He is a doctor. He's also a member of Congress. You got to figure that's an impressive resume, isn't it? Listen to what he said. September 27th, he's speaking at Liberty Baptist Church in Hartwell, Georgia. And he said this. It's on video. It's on the church's website. God's word is true. I've come to understand that. All that stuff I was taught about evolution and embryology and Big Bang Theory, all that is lies, straight from the pit of hell. And it's lies to try to keep me and all the folks who are taught that from understanding that they need a savior. Okay, I can't even get my head around the fact. So he can be a medical doctor, meaning he would have had to have taken umpteen science courses, right? Obviously, including perhaps embryology, which he singles out along with evolution. And he says those are lies straight from the pit of hell. How do you get to a point like that? He went on to say that he believed the Earth was about 9,000 years old, which deviates some from what I thought was the generally agreed upon age with these loons, which was 6,000. But he says 9,000, which is also absurd. And he believes that it was made in 6 days. But see, he's allowed to have his religion. He's allowed to have his point of view. And the people who vote for him, who probably agree with his point of view, they're allowed to have representation in the halls of Congress. But here's what blows me away. This guy who says evolution, embryology, half of the science that he ever learned were a pack of lies straight from the pit of hell. This guy sits on the House Committee on Science, Space, and Technology. How? We've got people, I mean, this is how far up these guys have gotten. People who do not believe in science are on this committee, congressional committees, which regulate scientific research budgets, space exploration, all of that. And that's all I have. Blah, blah, blah. I become a blithering idiot. Okay, that was a softball, because I know some of you are saying, become? Yeah, I do. Tim writes, he was just catching up. He was listening to the show Friday, and he said, and I listened to the debate again. Yes, how the hell anyone could listen to that twice? God, jeez, Tim. Sorry, obviously a glutton for punishment. He listened to the debate again yesterday, and he said, I was left somewhat flabbergasted at the notion that Romney won that debate. Anyone that has followed this campaign at all knows that Romney's positions are constantly changing, and he did that again in the debate. The ones that didn't change are those for which he refuses to say what he plans to do. How is it possible that all those who say, well, at least we know where he stands, can support this guy? No one knows where he stands on anything. Pretty frustrating. Well, I will agree with you on that. But you believe what you need to believe. The doctor congressman needs to believe that what he learned in medical school was direct memos from the pit of hell. He needs to believe that. And some people need to believe that they can sort of pause the tape at Mitt Romney when he says something that they like, and that's the real Romney. Now I know where he stands. And then they simply don't hear in a week or 2 or 3 when he totally discounts whatever that was, right? He has thrown out enough statements that anyone can find more than enough to agree with. The utterances of Mitt Romney. It's a cornucopia of opinion and principles, and just it's like Halloween. Just reach right in and pull out. Ooh, yeah, that one, and I'll take one of those, and you can cobble together a perfect candidate, your perfect candidate, and just disregard the rest. Because there's always maybe this is brilliant. I don't know. The reality is, and have I thrown that out already? The latest Gallup poll shows that he's pulled even. Which is a little unsettling. The Gallup poll that was taken right before the debate had Obama at 50 and Romney at 45. The poll taken this weekend after the debate has them tied at 47. So the president has dropped in that poll, and Romney has come up. So that debate did make a difference. I said maybe it's, again, Obama's need to have things be, right on the edge, nail-biting, because then he gets his, that's how he gets up. When the stakes are really, really high, when it looks like it's going to take a miracle, then somehow Obama shows up. We'll see. We'll see. But that debate is the best thing that happened to the Romney campaign. And that debate was potentially game-changing. I think most people think that the president's still ahead, and one more performance like that. I mean, we're all assuming, right? Tell me you're not. You're assuming that in the next Romney Obama debate that Obama's going to clean his clock. He's going to show up. Don't assume it. He's not that great a debater. And he has a little problem. He can't lie through his teeth like Romney can. He can exaggerate like any politician can. He can sort of forget certain things and they disappear like any good politician or debater can. He can accentuate the positive and minimize the negative like anybody can who's in a debate. But he can't look the American people in the eye and flat out lie. I don't think he can. Okay. Whoops. It's time for a break, isn't it? I'm being so good about my timing of breaks today. I normally am not, but I'm being very good. Okay. Wait a minute. I'm just trying to read. I can't do that. I can't think, read, and talk at the same time. Some people can, I think. Yeah. How could you possibly talk and read at the same time? I mean, read something else.
Yeah, you can do it.
You can do that?
Yeah.
I don't, well, I think if you're under the age of 30, you can do that because your brain gets wired differently because of all the technology. I still can't read when there's music playing.
Really?
No, I cannot read when there's music playing because my brain wants to go to the music and I can't think. I'm always amazed that people can read with music going on. I can't. I'm capable of only focusing on one thing at a time, which is very, very retro, apparently. Okay, so let's just go to a break.
Stick around for more with Lynn Cullen Live after this.
East Liberty is alive with new shops and fun things to do. The next time you're in the area, stop at Wear to Impress for its grand opening. Wear to Impress has many fashions for men that you won't find anywhere in Pittsburgh. They have jeans at 50% off, suits starting at $99, casual jackets at 60% off, big and tall sizes, and much more. Wear to Impress is located in the heart of East Liberty's business district at 6105 Penn Avenue. They're open Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can reach them at 412-441-1150. Wear to Impress is your one-stop shop for the best of men's fashion needs. Come on in and ask for Fred.
I spent most of the weekend watching movies. I just love movies. And if you love movies, then you got to check out Real Q. Now, Real Q is the really good new name for the Pittsburgh International Lesbian and Gay Film Festival, which was a real mouthful. Real Q, REELQ. Q. And that starts up October 12th, so it's coming right down the pike. Is that Friday, maybe even? And maybe you've heard some of the commercials. I mean, there's going to be some great movies, films from all over the world. That's the way it always works. There's a wonderful German comedy, which everybody's talking up, called Men to Kiss. There's Israel's answer to Glee. There is Canada's very moving indie called Cloudburst. And there's an American entry that is about the Hollywood legend James Dean. There'll also be 3 nights where they're just screening short movies, and those run the gamut from comedies to dramas to documentaries and wonderful stuff. I have found that if you're a movie lover, there is nothing better than these film festivals. Nothing better. Real Q screens all of their stuff at the Harris Theater right downtown here in the Cultural District. And again, it's from October 12th through Sunday, October 21st. So this is a wonderful 10 days of culture and independent movies. You can log on to realq.com, and again, that's REEL, like a movie reel, realq.com. You know what? I've got 2 things. One says realq.com and one says realq.org. We'll find out. They've written 2 different things. Well, it's org or com, whatever, but REEL dot. REELQ dot. Check it out. Make your plans.
Pittsburgh City Paper is available now. Pick up one today for Neil Young, Jeffrey Toobin, Amy Schumer, and the Pittsburgh Opera's Rigoletto. Pittsburgh City Paper, available at over 1,700 locations throughout Western Pennsylvania, and on the web at pghcitypaper.com, and on your smartphone at citypapermobile.com.
Have a question or an opinion? Call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn at pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live.
Yeah. Does anyone have the speaking of websites, does anyone have the website for this skydiver thing that was supposed to happen today, but has been postponed and is going to be tomorrow? Do you know of what I speak? This is an attempt to set the world skydiving record, and that has to do with the height from which one jumps. The guy who's doing this one is literally going to be as close to outer space when he makes that jump as you can be. I mean, it's unbelievable. He's going to be at 120,000 feet. Think about it, 120,000 feet. I was on an airplane just the other day, and the pilot said when we reach our cruising altitude of 33,000 feet, and you know, at 33,000 feet, when you look down, an entire city looks like, like a walnut. That's 33,000. This guy is going to jump from 120,000 feet. There ain't no oxygen up there. The temperature is like 100 degrees below zero. He has a suit, not a Brooks Brothers suit, but a kind of suit that's been created that should and is supposed to shield him from that atmosphere and allow his body to live as he makes this jump. He's going up in a balloon, a helium balloon, and then he's jumping out. This is an Austrian He's 50. No, he's 40-something, 43. And a tear, let's say as he jumps, he rips a little thing in his suit, he's dead. He is going to be, I think, equipped with a camera so that I believe if you go to the website I can't remember, you'll be able to see him. It seems impossible, but see and experience the dive, the fall. He is expected in the first few minutes, if he's still there, to break the sound barrier. A human being falling through the sky, breaking the sound barrier. That means his body will be falling at a speed of close to 700 miles per hour. I can't imagine this. So, in preparation, this guy's already jumped from over 97,000 feet. And again, so that's 3 times higher than my plane was flying the other day. This is so far on top of Mount Everest. I mean, the highest I've ever been at is 14,000 feet. And let me tell you, at 14,000 feet, you don't feel good. There's no oxygen. 14,000. We're come on, 130,000 feet. He was supposed to originally do this today, but they didn't like the weather for some reason. And of all places, he's doing this over Roswell, New Mexico. Is that how it's pronounced? Roswell. Okay. But the reason is Roswell is like, there's nothing, it gives you it's flat and there's nothing around there. So it allows him to, I don't know. What kind of, you talk about courageous people. This is courageous because he could well die. And I can't begin to imagine what that would feel like. Your own body falling at the speed of sound. Well, Chuck has sent me this, but I don't know. Do they have the website? Because there is a actual site where you'll be able to watch. I'm afraid he's going to do it when my show's on, and then I won't be able to watch. Or maybe we can just take a break and we can all watch. I don't even know how long it's supposed to take, this fall from a. I don't see the website on here. Okay. Okay, they're on schedule for Tuesday. He'll be lifted into the stratosphere around 7 a.m. Mountain time. So that's 2 hours from here. So that would be 9 a.m. Yeah, he's going to do it right when my show's on. Why would he do that? Okay. By the way, his helium balloon that's lifting him up is going to... The balloon is 55 stories high. Oh, jeez. So he has jumped from airplanes. He has jumped from helicopters. He has jumped from landmarks and skyscrapers. And he says this jump will be his last. Well, it will one way or the other, I guess. And he says if he lives through this, he's going to settle down and fly helicopters. So there it is. And again, there is a website if anybody can find it. Can you find it? Did you look, Jess?
I'll find it for tomorrow.
Okay. I'd sure like to, I think, watch that. The guy who holds the record for the highest skydive is, by the way, an older man now. That record has held for 52 years, and he's on the team that is doing this. So he's extremely supportive of this effort. And that man, if that was 52 years ago, you do the math, he jumped from 102,800 feet. And that was in 1960. That's amazing, too. But not high enough to create a sonic boom. Extraordinary. Yike. Okay, and I just have this one other thing that I want to, by the way, the film festival is realq.org. O-R-G. .org, not .com. If you want to look up the rundown.
Welcome to the...
What was that?
FelixBaumgartner.com. I didn't know it was going to make noise. I was just trying to find
okay.
where his video is.
That's the guy. The name of the jumper, Felix Baumgartner.
It will probably be on his...
Or Fearless Felix, as they say. Whatever. This crossed my desk, and I thought I already have somebody that I think should win this, but I will let you know, too. Just in case, and to make things interesting. Did you ever think that your crazy life would make a good reality show? Or do you know somebody here in Pittsburgh that if you stuck cameras in their home or their business, it would be just a riotous reality show? Because if you do, you should know that there are people, a serious production house, looking for just that. If you think so, they are going to have face-to-face meetings with the producers at an open casting call at WQED Studios on November 17th. And then you can just line up and get interviewed. So if you want to come to that open call, there's a way to fill out an application. I imagine WQED could give you... or here's a website, www.thenextrealitystar.com. Now, the guy behind this is somebody that I know, and he's a heck of a producer. He is the producer behind MTV's Emmy Award-winning hit show Made, and he's teaming up with Pittsburgh Innovative Media Incubator for the first Pittsburgh-wide open casting competition to find Pittsburgh's next reality star. So, if you've ever noticed, there's tons of Pittsburghers on these idiot reality shows. They're all over the place. Ever since it first started with, like, Survivor, it just seems like Pittsburghers left and right. I've personally met about 4 or 5 Pittsburghers who are, and now the hot one is that god-awful dance teacher person. Dance moms person. She's got her own show, another whole show. Ugh. So there's, what's her name? I can't think of her, and I don't even want to. So they're looking for colorful characters. Bring whatever or whoever you need to get your idea across. Whether it's your coworkers at the bakery, the uniforms you wear, blah, blah, blah. They also, I guess, want you to put a tape together. Oh, her name is Abby Lee Miller, that jerk. So, here it is. And the guy behind it, Bob Cusbett, worked for a little bit as a producer at WTAE-TV, and that's where I knew him, when we were both very young. He was in his 20s, I was in my 30s, and he was brilliant and funny. And he went on to work. He was a vice president at MTV, and he created their longest-running music hit, Total Request Live. He launched the career of Carson Daly, for which maybe he should be throttled. He founded his own production company, One Louder Productions, and that company has produced hundreds of hours of specials, events, series, including Made and the upcoming MTV series Totally Clueless. And he wants to do this thing right here in his hometown. He grew up in Latrobe, but he's got kids in Ben Avon and a wife, and he's wanting to do this. You could be it. Pittsburgh's next reality star, for real. So go to that website if you think you or somebody you know might be the ones to pull this off. I have a friend who I think would make a great reality show, but I don't know. The only thing working against her is she's probably too old for the demo. Because God knows if you're my friend, you're too old. Okay, that's it for this day. And I'll be back tomorrow. I'm here all week for a change. I'll be back tomorrow. My sister Susan, I believe, joining us. Wednesday, it'll be Potter. Thursday, Sokolowski. And Friday, who the hell knows? It's a work in progress. Have a good day.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.